There are seasons when God works so quietly that even you begin to wonder if anything is happening. You pray, you sow, you wait, and the ground beneath you seems unchanged. Yet beneath that still surface, heaven is arranging a shift so powerful that when it breaks forth, it will move faster than anything you have seen before. A rise that does not ask for permission. A rise that does not wait for applause. A rise that arrives with the kind of speed that leaves observers stunned and critics speechless. This message is for the one who has walked through long shadows and silent battles, for the one who kept showing up even when no one acknowledged the effort. You carried weight that others never noticed. You stayed faithful in places where many would have surrendered. You survived moments that were meant to break your spirit. And while people measured your life by what they could see, God was shaping a future they could not discern. Your rise will not follow the pattern of those around you. It will not grow slowly or ease its way into view. It will unfold like dawn breaking through a night that lasted too long, sudden, bright, undeniable. Those who once overlooked you will witness a transformation that defies natural explanation. Those who spoke against you will watch as God turns what was meant to bury you into the very platform that lifts you. Before we continue, take a moment to write in the comments, "My rise will be God-ordained." Let this declaration settle into your spirit because it aligns you with what heaven is preparing to reveal. Now breathe deeply and open your heart. What you are about to hear is not only encouragement, it is direction, clarity, and confirmation for the path you are stepping into. Your life is on the edge of a shift, and this message will prepare you for the sudden elevation God has set in motion. When God chooses to elevate someone suddenly, it is never an accident or a surprise to him. It is part of a precise plan that has been forming quietly in the background of your life. Sudden elevation may seem unexpected to the people watching you, but it is the natural result of years of internal work God has been doing in you long before anyone paid attention. These long seasons of hidden effort, private prayers, and silent endurance were not empty. They formed the foundation for what God is about to unfold. Many people misunderstand sudden breakthroughs. They imagine them as moments that appear from nowhere. But heaven does not operate in randomness. What looks sudden to human eyes is simply timing to God. The long nights you stayed faithful, the days you pushed through discouragement, the moments you held on even when your strength was low, none of it was ignored. God saw every small step, every quiet act of obedience, every time you chose integrity over convenience. These choices built the strength required for elevation that moves quickly. Look at the stories of Joseph, David, and Esther. Their rise looked immediate, but that rise was the result of years of shaping. Joseph spent time in places that felt unfair, but each stage added wisdom he would need later. David tended sheep while others went ahead of him, yet the field became his training ground for leadership. Esther lived hidden in a foreign land, yet God used her humility and courage to position her as a queen. They did not rise because of luck. They rose because they were prepared when purpose called their name. In the same way, God has been preparing you in ways you may not have fully understood. Your patience has been stretched so your spirit could carry responsibility without breaking. Your discernment has been sharpened so you can recognize opportunities that match your assignment. Your endurance has been strengthened so that pressure will not intimidate you when God lifts you to a higher place. Your sudden rise is not designed to impress those around you. It is designed to activate the purpose placed inside you. This is not about proving anything to people. It is about stepping into a divine moment that was shaped long before anyone noticed your growth. What others mistook as inactivity was actually God building your foundation. Your rise will surprise people because they only saw the surface. They did not see the deep work that God was doing in your heart, your habits, your thinking, and your character. They saw slow movement, but God saw preparation. They saw delay, but God saw development. And now, because the preparation is complete, the elevation will move with speed. Your sudden rise is not a reaction to your enemies, your critics, or your challenges. It is the unfolding of God's timing. It is the moment when everything you learned in the quiet will finally meet the opportunity you were created for. It is the moment when the door that once seemed distant opens so widely that no one can deny it was God who placed you there. Your rise is coming quickly because you have been prepared deeply. And when the moment arrives, you will not struggle to handle it. You will step into it with confidence, clarity, and grace. Because God has already shaped you for the place He is lifting you into. One of the most astonishing truths about divine destiny is this: God allows opposition not to stop you, but to position you. What feels like resistance is often the very thing guiding you toward the place God designed for you. Many of the people who questioned your choices, criticized your progress, or dismissed your potential were unknowingly becoming part of your spiritual training. They believed they were creating barriers, but God was using their actions to build direction. Opposition has a unique way of awakening clarity. It makes you pay attention to what matters and let go of what doesn't. It presses you to grow in ways comfort never could. When someone speaks against you, your spirit learns how to stand firm. When someone misunderstands you, you learn how to move without seeking approval. When someone tries to slow you down, you learn how to walk with God's pace instead of people's expectations. There were moments when their words hurt you more than you admitted. Their rejection stung deeply. Their silence confused you. But those moments became tools in God's hands. They shaped your awareness. They strengthened your focus. They trained your heart not to depend on validation from places that could not carry your destiny. What once felt like pain became part of your preparation. Some of the challenges you faced were not spiritual attacks. Many were divine reroutes. A closed door often pushed you toward something bigger. A disappointment shifted you away from a path that would not have served your purpose. A betrayal revealed the true character of those around you, helping you protect your heart for where God was taking you next. Without knowing it, your enemies helped you see what you could not see on your own. Your rise is unstoppable, partly because of the very people who tried to stop you. Their attempts to limit you forced you to grow. Their doubts pushed you to lean more on God than on yourself. Their negativity made you seek strength from a higher place. Every time adversity tried to push you down, it actually pushed you deeper into God's presence, deeper into wisdom, deeper into patience, deeper into resilience. This is why your rise will confuse them. They thought opposition would break you. They thought pressure would silence you. They thought rejection would cause you to quit. Instead, those experiences became spiritual conditioning. They built endurance in you. They created hunger in you. They helped you discover abilities you may never have found without resistance. Because your journey was shaped in adversity, your elevation will carry a depth that cannot be explained by talent alone. It will have substance. It will have power. It will have character. Others may rise quickly and fall just as fast, but your foundation is strong because it was built under pressure. Your elevation will stand because it was tested before it was revealed. And when God lifts you, those who opposed you will not understand how you made it through. They will not understand how you kept moving. They will not understand why everything they used against you became the fuel God used for your rise. They will see the success, but they will never comprehend the strength behind it. Your rise will shock them because God turned their opposition into your positioning. Before God elevates someone, He rarely does it without sending signs that the shift is already taking place. These signs may feel subtle at first, almost easy to overlook, but when you pause and reflect, you will realize they point to one truth. God is positioning you for a rise that will happen quickly and unexpectedly. The evidence is all around you, even if you've been too busy surviving to recognize it. God's preparation phase is often quiet. It doesn't shout. It doesn't announce itself. It works underneath the surface of your daily life. And just like the dawn gives tiny hints before the sun actually appears, your spirit begins to notice changes before elevation manifests in the physical world. These changes are gentle nudges from heaven, reminders that something greater is coming. Let's explore these signs deeply because understanding them helps you cooperate with what God is doing. 1. Old environments stop fitting you. One of the first signs is internal discomfort. It's when places that once felt familiar begin to feel too small. Conversations no longer match your mindset. Activities that once entertained you now feel meaningless. You begin sensing that you cannot stay where you are, not because you dislike it, but because you have outgrown it. This shift is not a sign of pride or ungratefulness. It is the natural result of growth. God will allow certain environments to become uncomfortable to keep you from settling. When a season ends, even the things you once loved can start to feel heavy. That heaviness is not punishment, it's transition. It is God's way of telling you there is more. Many people ignore this sign and try to force comfort back into the old place, but the discomfort will only grow stronger because God is creating space for your next season by shrinking the one you're in. Number 2, your spirit becomes restless. Another unmistakable sign is an inner stirring. You begin feeling a pull towards something you cannot describe fully. You sense change approaching even if nothing in your surroundings has shifted yet. You may wake up with thoughts, ideas, or questions that weren't there before. This restlessness is heaven preparing your heart. God rarely elevates someone while they feel completely settled in the wrong environment. He awakens a holy dissatisfaction, not to frustrate you, but to move you. He turns your attention toward where you're going, not where you've been. This inner restlessness often shows up quietly. You simply know, I'm meant for more than this. Not in a prideful way, but in a purposeful way. Not as a complaint, but as a confirmation. Your heart is sensing what your eyes have not yet seen. 3. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. One of the most surprising signs of coming elevation is the sudden appearance of opportunities you did not chase. People begin reaching out. Doors open without effort. Something you prayed about long ago suddenly becomes possible. You receive information, invitations, or insights that seem to come from nowhere. This is how God works when He is ready to lift you. He aligns your steps in ways that do not require your stress. Things that were once difficult now feel supported by divine favor. Conversations that were once closed suddenly become open. People who once ignored you now recognize what you carry. This is not coincidence. This is orchestration. When God is preparing you for a rise, He lines up connections, resources, and timing in ways no human could arrange. Each opportunity is a signpost letting you know your season is shifting. 4. Hidden abilities begin to surface. Another sign that elevation is near is the discovery of new capabilities within yourself. You begin thinking differently, solving problems creatively, and recognizing potential where you once saw limitation. Gifts you did not acknowledge before start showing up in your speech, your work, your ideas, and your decisions. This internal activation is important because God never lifts someone into a place they are not equipped to handle. Before the rise comes the sharpening. Before the blessing comes the strengthening. Before the visibility comes the development. You may suddenly feel more confident. You may find yourself learning faster. You may express yourself more clearly. You may notice new boldness, clarity, or resilience. These are not random traits appearing out of nowhere. They are skills God has been cultivating inside you. He brings them forward right before elevation because you will need them for the level you're stepping into. 5. Attacks increase before the breakthrough. This sign is often misunderstood, but it is one of the clearest of all. When elevation is near, pressure increases. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because the enemy recognizes that something in your life is about to shift. Resistance often intensifies right before a breakthrough. You may face unexpected challenges, emotional weight, misunderstandings, or increased spiritual warfare. You may feel like things are trying to slow you down or distract you. But these attacks are actually confirmations. They are signals that the enemy senses movement in your direction. No one fights a threat that is not rising. Pressure increases to discourage you, but God allows it to strengthen you. What tries to push you backward ends up pushing you deeper into prayer, deeper into wisdom and deeper into focus. You become sharper because of the battle, and when the elevation arrives, you will realize the opposition was simply the final test before the shift. These signs are not random. They are synchronized by heaven. They are designed to prepare your heart, adjust your vision, and align your steps with God's plan. When discomfort grows, God is redirecting you. When restlessness rises, God is awakening you. When opportunities appear, God is guiding you. When new gifts activate, God is equipping you. When attacks intensify, God is confirming you. Each sign is heaven's whisper that your rise is closer than it appears. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned. Your elevation requires these signs because God is not simply lifting you higher. He is preparing you to carry the weight of the place He is taking you. Your rise will come suddenly, but the preparation has been happening quietly all along. Your elevation will confuse those who misjudged you because everything they believed about you was based on limited information. They only evaluated what they could see on the surface. They saw the quiet seasons, the slow seasons, the moments when nothing appeared to be moving in your favor. They formed opinions without knowing the full story. They criticized you without understanding the depth of the journey God was taking you through. They didn't see the quiet sacrifices you made when no one applauded you. They didn't witness the nights you stayed awake praying for strength to keep going. They didn't feel the weight of the burdens you carried privately while still showing up for others. They didn't know the discipline you maintained when it would have been easier to quit. They didn't see the tears you hid because you didn't want anyone to worry. People often create conclusions about your life based only on the visible moments. They watch a single scene and assume they understand the entire story. They form expectations based on rumors, mistakes, or temporary chapters. They think they know your limits because they only saw your struggles, not your growth. But God does not define you by moments. He defines you by purpose. This is why your elevation will shock them. God's preparation in your life was invisible to everyone but Him. While people saw waiting, God saw training. While people saw stillness, God saw strategy. While people saw silence, God saw development. They thought nothing was happening because they were looking at the surface, but God was working beneath it. Your rise will confuse them because they assumed delay meant denial. They believed that because you experienced setbacks, your story was over. They interpreted your patience as weakness. They looked at your humility and mistook it for insignificance. They didn't understand that humility is often the strongest proof of someone being lifted by God. Many people around you believed your life would remain in the same place because your process didn't make sense to them. You weren't loud. You weren't fighting for attention. You weren't showing off your progress. You weren't trying to prove anything. You simply stayed faithful, trusting that God would speak for you at the right time. And now, as He prepares to elevate you, those same people will be forced to confront the reality that their assumptions were wrong. Your enemies won't understand your elevation because it was never sourced from them. They didn't build it, they didn't support it, they didn't pray for it, they didn't suffer through the preparation that shaped it. They didn't walk through the nights that strengthened you. They didn't pay the price for the wisdom you carry. They didn't stand with you during the seasons that developed your character. People cannot understand a rise they were never part of. Your elevation is the result of God's hand, not human approval. And because they did not contribute to it, they cannot explain it. They cannot trace it. They cannot take credit for it. All they will be able to do is watch as God unfolds a chapter they never imagined you would walk into. Your rise will shock them because they never saw the foundation being built. They didn't hear the prayers. They didn't witness the breakthroughs God gave you in private. They didn't feel the transformation happening inside you. God lifts people in ways that expose the blindness of those who misjudge them. Your enemies won't understand your elevation because they never imagined that someone they counted out could be chosen. They didn't see the favor God placed on your life. They didn't recognize the oil He poured on your head. They didn't know the strength He put inside you. Your rise will not only shock them, it will silence them. It will show them that God's plans are not limited by human expectations. It will prove that destiny is not defined by opinions. And it will remind them that God can take a person from the background and place them in positions they once believed were impossible. Your elevation will not make sense to them because it was never supposed to. It was written by God, prepared by God, protected by God, and revealed by God at the appointed time. As you approach this sudden rise, your posture matters more than you may realize. Elevation is not only about being lifted higher, it is about being spiritually ready to handle what comes with that new level. A sudden rise is powerful, but it also demands responsibility, awareness, and discipline. This transition is a sacred period, and how you move in it determines how well you can carry the blessing God is preparing for you. Below are the key things God wants you to hold on to during this transition. These principles protect you, guide you, and keep you aligned with God's heart while He shifts your life into a new chapter. 1. Stay grounded. When elevation begins, it is easy to get caught up in excitement. New opportunities arrive, new conversations start, new connections form. But God wants you to remain steady and centered. Staying grounded means remembering why God is lifting you in the first place. Purpose, not popularity. Assignment, not applause. People may begin to see you differently as elevation unfolds, but you must hold on to your identity in God. Do not allow sudden favor to distract you from the values that protected you in the low seasons. Your rise is not designed to inflate your ego, it is designed to increase your impact. When you stay grounded, you move with clarity instead of emotion. You remain teachable. You handle success with wisdom instead of pride. Staying grounded ensures your elevation does not become your downfall. 2. Guard your environment. Not everyone can handle the version of you that God is raising up. Some people will not understand your shift. Some will feel threatened by it. Some may attempt to pull you backward or drain your energy without meaning to. This is why guarding your environment becomes essential. Protect your peace by choosing what you allow into your mind and spirit. Protect your ideas by sharing them only with people who are spiritually mature and genuinely supportive. Protect your heart by avoiding spaces and relationships that keep you tied to old versions of yourself. Elevation requires separation, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. You cannot rise freely while carrying people who do not want to grow. You cannot move forward while trying to convince others to see what God has revealed to you. Guard your environment so your rise is not slowed down by unnecessary weight. 3. Continue building privately. One of the biggest mistakes people make when God begins to elevate them is abandoning the habits that built their foundation. Private discipline must not disappear simply because public progress begins. The daily choices you cultivated during quiet seasons, prayer, consistency, patience, work ethic, stewardship, self-control, are the same habits that will sustain you when elevation brings new demands. Do not rush to display everything God is doing. Do not feel pressured to announce every step or every achievement. Sudden elevation is strongest when it is supported by quiet discipline. What you continue building in private will protect what God reveals in public. The deeper your roots, the higher your rise can go without collapsing. 4. Seek wisdom before action. As God begins opening doors for you, not every door will be meant for you. Some opportunities will be distractions. Some invitations will not align with your purpose. Some decisions require patience, not speed. This is why seeking wisdom becomes crucial. Before you say yes, ask God for clarity. Before you commit your time, ask for understanding. Before you walk through an open door, check if it matches your assignment. Moving too quickly can cause unnecessary mistakes. Moving with wisdom positions you exactly where you need to be. Wise decisions keep you in rhythm with God's timing. They save you from wasted effort and emotional exhaustion. They help you recognize which path carries God's favor and which path simply looks appealing. When you seek wisdom before action, you rise with direction, not confusion. 5. Maintain humility. Humility is one of heaven's greatest currencies. It unlocks favor, protects influence, and keeps your heart aligned with God's character. No matter how sudden or significant your elevation becomes, humility must remain your anchor. Humility does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means remembering where your strength comes from. It means acknowledging that without God's guidance, none of this would be possible. It means treating people with kindness, even when you rise above where they expected you to be. It means staying teachable, even when doors open for you. The journey that shaped you must never be forgotten once you reach your new level. The battles you survived, the prayers you prayed, the tears you cried, these moments remind you that elevation is a gift, not a right. And when humility stays in your heart, God can continue trusting you with greater and greater responsibilities. When these principles shape your heart, you rise with clarity, not confusion. You move with intention instead of impulse. You navigate opportunities with wisdom instead of pressure. And most importantly, you honor God with each step. This transition is not just about being lifted, it is about becoming ready. It is about forming the character that can carry the blessing without breaking under its weight. It is about protecting the purpose behind your rise so that the elevation brings growth instead of chaos. When you remain grounded, guard your environment, build privately, seek wisdom, and walk in humility, you prepare yourself, not only for sudden elevation, but for long-lasting stability. God is not raising you for a moment. He is preparing you for a destiny. There will come a moment, unexpected, undeniable, when God accelerates your life in a way that leaves you standing in awe of His timing. You may have waited for years, prayed through countless nights, and wondered when change would finally come. Then suddenly, without warning, the pace of your life begins to move differently. What once crawled now moves quickly. What once resisted now begins to cooperate. What once confused you now becomes clear. This moment of shift is not random. It is the point where heaven and timing meet. It is the moment when God decides that everything you have endured, everything you have learned, and everything you have become is ready to step into what He planned from the beginning. It is the divine turning point where preparation meets opportunity. You will recognize it because the atmosphere around you will feel different. The same tasks that once drained you will begin to feel light. The ideas that once felt blocked will now flow with ease. The things that once took great effort will suddenly feel supported by a strength beyond your own. It will be as if God places His hand on the rhythm of your life and speeds it up, not in chaos, but in clarity. This is the moment when the slow pace snaps into movement. The waiting season breaks open, the heaviness lifts, the confusion settles. Everything that once seemed scattered begins to gather into alignment. The pieces that never made sense suddenly fit together. It becomes clear that God was arranging things the whole time. You just couldn't see it. You will also notice that resistance begins to fade. People who once doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge the shift. Circumstances that once fought you will fall into order. Delays that once frustrated you will lose their power. Obstacles that once blocked you will become stepping stones for your next phase. What seemed impossible will now feel reachable because God Himself is pushing you forward. This shift will not be subtle. It will not happen quietly. It will be visible to those around you. Friends will sense a new strength in your voice. Coworkers will notice a different level of confidence. Even your enemies will feel the change. They may not understand it, but they will sense that something has moved over your life. Doors that stayed closed for years will open in a single season. Opportunities that were once denied will return with greater favor. People you never expected to meet will be placed in your path. What you planted in tears will grow quickly in this season because God is breathing on your efforts. The results you prayed for will not come through struggle in this moment. They will come through grace. Not by pushing, but by walking. Not by forcing, but by flowing. When God accelerates a person, the weight of progress is lifted off their shoulders. Doors do not open because of who you know. They open because heaven has declared it is time. And as the shift increases, you will feel a deep inner confirmation. Not fear, not doubt, but peace. A peace that tells you this is not a coincidence. A peace that tells you this is not temporary. A peace that reassures you that God is fulfilling His promise. You will know that this is the rise heaven ordained because it will carry God's fingerprint, unmistakable, undeniable, and impossible to explain without acknowledging His power. This moment will be the turning point of your story. This moment will be the beginning of a new chapter. This moment will be the visible evidence of everything God was doing in secret. And when it happens, you will understand why the wait was necessary, why the pain had purpose, why the delays did not kill the promise, why the journey had to unfold the way it did. The moment everything shifts is the moment God shows you that nothing was wasted and nothing was forgotten. It will be clear. This is the rise heaven ordained. Your rise is not just about visibility. It is not simply about being noticed, applauded, or talked about. It is deeper than recognition and far bigger than any human reward. Your rise is meant to carry a testimony, one that shows the world what God can do through a life that refuses to let faith die in the dark. Your elevation will reveal how God pursues those who trust Him, even in seasons of silence. It will reveal how He strengthens those who keep walking, even when their steps feel heavy. It will reveal how He restores those who continue believing, even when everything around them suggests they should give up. Your rise will become proof that God sees every tear, hears every prayer, and honors every act of obedience. Your story will become a reminder that opposition does not cancel what God has spoken. People may have counted you out. Circumstances may have tried to limit you. Life may have attempted to drain you. But none of these forces could bury what God chose to breathe life into. Your rise will show that when God places His hand on someone, no amount of resistance can hold them down. Delays did not cancel your destiny. They prepared you for it. Setbacks did not erase your purpose. They sharpened it. Failures did not break you. They trained you. And enemies did not defeat you. They pushed you closer to God. Your rise is about to speak louder than any rumor, louder than any doubt, louder than any assumption people made about you. You are entering a season where your life will become its own message. You will not need to defend yourself or explain what God is doing. The transformation will be so clear that even people who never believed in you will be forced to recognize the hand of God on your life. People will look at you and wonder, how did this happen so fast? How did everything change so quickly? How did they rise from a place that looked impossible? They will ask these questions because your elevation will not match human logic. It will not match your background. It will not match your resources. It will not match your circumstances. It will match only one thing: the power of God. And when they ask you how it happened, you will not need a long explanation. You will not need to justify anything or trace the path step by step. Your answer will be simple, confident, and true. It was God. Because that is the truth. No human hand could have orchestrated your rise. No strategy could have moved things this quickly. No connection could have opened these doors with such precision. No person could have predicted the moment everything shifted. It was God, His timing, His plan, His favor, His strength. Your rise will shock them, not because you fought for attention, not because you pushed your way into rooms, not because you forced your name into spaces, but because heaven scheduled your breakthrough. God picked the moment. God prepared the path. God removed the barriers. God aligned the opportunities. God decided the pace. And when God decides a rise, nothing can stop it. Nothing can delay it. Nothing can distort it. Your elevation will not just change your life, it will change the way people around you view God. Your testimony will become a doorway for others to believe again, to not hope again, and trust again. Your story will strengthen weary hearts and remind them that God has not forgotten how to lift his children. You are stepping into a season where your life will shine with the evidence of God's goodness. You will carry a testimony that inspires others to keep moving, keep praying, and keep believing, even when the journey feels long. This is more than a rise. This is a divine demonstration. This is God showing what he can do with a life surrendered to him. And the world will see it. Your enemies will see it. You will see it. Your rise is coming, and it will carry a testimony that will echo far beyond this moment. As you step into this new chapter, carry this truth with steady confidence. Your rise is unstoppable because it is ordained by God himself. What heaven has planned for you cannot be interrupted by your past, cannot be blocked by your enemies, and cannot be silenced by your fears. Every chapter you walk through has prepared you for this moment. Every difficulty strengthened you. Every delay shaped you. Now you are stepping into a season that has been waiting for your arrival. Your past cannot hinder what God has spoken. Your enemies cannot stop what God has released. Your fears cannot weaken what God has empowered. You are moving into a future that carries divine backing. God has already gone ahead of you. He has cleared paths you cannot see yet. He has aligned opportunities you have not discovered. He has prepared hearts that will support you and removed obstacles that could distract you. You are walking into a rise that was written long before anyone formed an opinion about you. If this message strengthened your spirit, write in the comments, "My rise will glorify God." This declaration is not just words. It is a reminder that everything God is about to do in your life has purpose behind it. Your elevation is not random. It is intentional. It is designed to reflect his goodness, his faithfulness, and his power. And remember this with a grateful heart. What God is about to do for you will be undeniable. It will be clear. It will be visible. It will be beyond anything you could have created on your own. People will see the shift and know it was God's hand guiding you. Get ready. Prepare your heart. Strengthen your faith. The sudden rise begins now.